It's been known for a while now that the 2024 Call of Duty release will likely be titled Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War. This game has been in development since Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and therefore will have the longest development cycle of any Call of Duty ever, with a 4-year development timeline. In this video I want to explore how, in my personal opinion, I think Black Ops Gulf War could be potentially one of the greatest games they have made. But that's only if they fix some of the issues that they've had for the past few Call of Duty games. But firstly, we need to back up a little bit. I've been playing Call of Duty since Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare. And of course, Modern Warfare 2 took things to the next level with their really competitive and insanely impressive online modes. Following this with the releases such as Black Ops and Black Ops 2, this was a peak period for Treyarch and Activision. But as has been the way with many games in the industry, they need to appeal to younger audiences, as older audiences tend to drop off the top as they start families and get on with their life, and therefore spend less time playing video games. It's the unfortunate truth of becoming an adult. And the best way to do this has been to make games futuristic. We've seen this with Rockstar Games in terms of introducing futuristic vehicles into GTA 5 Online, and we've also seen it with the popularity of games like Fortnite. The whole futuristic dystopian context has really helped to sell games over the past few years. Now, me personally, as soon as the Call of Duty games started getting futuristic and we started having weaponry which wasn't really in line with the war dynamic that we're used to in the Call of Duty games, I personally lost interest. Now, I'm not saying that I'm right or someone else is wrong, it's purely down to a taste thing, but my take on Call of Duty is the more historically accurate it is, the more appealing it is to me as a player. I think this might be linked to my personal taste in documentaries or whatever it might be, but the Call of Duty games that have reference back to Vietnam and really important turning points in the history of the USA and their conflicts with other countries have been, to me personally, very intriguing. Now, what will make Gulf War such a special game to me? Well, firstly, I don't know much about the Gulf War. In my lifetime, the wars I've known have been primarily the back end of the Iraq War and the war in Afghanistan, and of course the wars that are currently taking place all around the world. But the Gulf War is not something I ever really knew too much about. Now, the best way for me to learn and for me to become educated on topics and, more importantly, political incentives around why certain countries do certain things, me being a visual learner, Call of Duty has always been a really good way to actually be a gateway to get me interested in these topics. Now, of course, they're not 100% historically accurate, but the overall themes in their more realistic games are relatively more true to the actual narrative that took place, well, at least from the American point of view anyway. So for me, I'm excited to get stuck into a very entertaining history lesson. Next, we have the open world style of the game. Now, Insider Gaming recently reported that Black Ops Gulf War is set to have an open world style campaign. We've been able to see some open world elements in the Modern Warfare 3 campaign, however, supposedly the Gulf War story has been built from the ground up. The campaign has been developed by Raven Software and will be able to use vehicles and fast travel to get around the map. However, there will still be some linear elements to certain missions, of course. Now, of course, me being a massive Grand Theft Auto nerd and majority of my channel being built off the back of that, open worlds to me are far more appealing. However, that being said, with like Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1 and 2, I never really minded the hand holding that we got when guiding us through the game. I never felt like the world was constricted. However, an open world style of gameplay is definitely a new element that I feel would add a lot of value to the gameplay. Now, if they're trying to convey this game in an open world setting such as in the Gulf War, that open world is going to have to be huge, which once again makes it furthermore even more impressive. Now, before we get into the online elements of the game and why I'm excited to play online again, firstly, I'd like to say a massive thank you to today's video sponsor, private internet access. So one of the worst things when playing online is having loads of lag and latency and having some of your friends glitching out while playing. This has happened now, especially a few times when we've been recording, and it's so annoying. But it's also important to be private when using the internet. But at the same time, there should never ever be a compromise for privacy and internet speed. But with today's video sponsor, private internet access, you can use their VPN to not only stay private online, but achieve really fast internet speeds, which is really important when it comes to gaming. Now, if you're based in the US and you decided that you want to use a VPN, you want to stay private online, you don't want people to access your IP address or anything like that, you can change your location to one of their 50 US states. So rather than having to ping to the other side of the world, you can ping to a nearby state whilst remaining completely anonymous and private and still maintaining a really fast internet speed. Or alternatively, if you're just browsing online and you want to change your location to maybe access Netflix in another country, for example, you can just use private internet access to choose from 91 countries and change your location. For example, Netflix in the USA is a lot better than the Netflix we get in the UK, So I use it just to change my location to there so I can watch the really good stuff that they have on the American Netflix. So to save yourself 83% off and get yourself 4 months completely free, click the link down below. It works out about $2.03 a month. So Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War Online. Once again, we need to go back to Modern Warfare 2. The campaign modes, the story modes were very special. They had a replayability factor that you could replay the games over and over and over again, and it would take you a very long time to get bored. The depth of the characters was amazing, and going into Black Ops, this was expanded upon even more. The characters were confusing, they had depth, they had personality, and building relationships and trust dynamics within these games was a very important part to us becoming emotionally attached to the characters. In more recent Call of Duty games, I didn't feel this connection to the characters, and for the most part, I felt relatively confused about what was going on half the time. The interwoven timelines between certain Call of Duty games, for the most part, became quite confusing, in my opinion. I know a lot of people will have more of an understanding of it, and they'll be absolutely cool with it. For me, I want a reset, I want Gulf War, and I want a boots on the ground Call of Duty. And this also extends to online as well. I don't want really obscure, weird advantages when playing with people online. I'm not interested in the future weapons. Now, of course, I understand there's a subset of the audience that will be, and they should just go and play Halo. I'm joking. But I think that having a more diverse array of online modes, for example, the same way we have zombies, so we could have zombies, we can have online modes for futuristic weapons, and we could also have some more boots on the ground style combat. I think another element that needs to be brought back to the Call of Duty franchise is the tactical elements of playing online. Me personally, I'm starting to fall a little bit out of love with the Battle Royale, Team Deathmatch, one-on-one style matches within the games. I would really love to see a tactical mission where in online you are two sniper teams that have to infiltrate a facility and compete against another team. Obviously there's similar modes like that in Call of Duty, but to be able to actually have it down to a T where it feels like you and the players you're playing with are personally responsible for how that mission online plays out would add a whole new element to the game. And I've got a lot of faith that Treyarch will pull this off. And now I need to talk about one of the Achilles heels of the Call of Duty series. Over the years, Call of Duty sales have increased over time, but not by the amount that they should for the set time period. For example, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 sold 22.7 million copies, Black Ops sold 30 million, Black Ops 2 sold 31 million, Ghost was 19, Black Ops 3 was 12 million, and then Modern Warfare in 2019 was 30 million, then Vanguard was 30 million, and overall the figures are a bit all over the place. Now with other games developers out there, you can pretty much plot their sales over time, game over game, as increasing. With the Call of Duty series, it hasn't been the case, and that's mainly because they've had a more significant player drop off over time. Now this is very similar to another series, FIFA. Now the FIFA series, a lot of people will buy a new FIFA game when it comes out, and that's primarily not down to the game being better in many respects. It's usually because it's the more up-to-date modern version of the game. And Call of Duty as a series, for the most part, is relatively similar to that. People will buy a console and then they'll just buy the latest Call of Duty, or when they get some money on a paycheck, they'll buy the latest Call of Duty because it provides entertainment, but the longevity of those entertainment pieces isn't as long as they used to be. Modern Warfare 2, for me personally, I'm 26 now, and for my generation growing up, we played that for years on end. And the regularity of releases of Call of Duty games being released so regularly, in my opinion, is one of those things that's actually slowing down the sales of Call of Duty. With games like Grand Theft Auto 6, the wait time has been extensive, the anticipation has been like no other game in history, and that's because we know that Rockstar have been working on it for so long, so what they're going to deliver is going to be extremely special. Now unfortunately with Call of Duty, we don't have that same hope. We don't have the knowledge that they've been working on the game for 10 years grafting away at it, because we get games so regularly. Now this isn't me by any means knocking Call of Duty. For me growing up, it was one of the most important games I ever played, and it actually got me interested in war and history. And the second I turned 16, I went to a recruitment office to sign up for the army. Now I'm not saying that was because of Call of Duty, but my overall interest in war dynamics and the politics of war were piqued at a young age, in part due to things like Call of Duty. But the regularity of the Call of Duty games have for the most part made them less special. And one of the final reasons that I think that Black Ops Gulf War will be so special is that for Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1 and 2, at the time, they were limited by the technology of the consoles at the time. For example, when we were actually able to like slide across the floor when running to cover, that was a really special feature at the time. And I remember when that was first introduced, I was ecstatic about that ability. But now that we have the latest gen consoles and they have all of that research and development that they've taken from the past few games, where technically the games themselves are better structured, the controls are better, the options are better, The animations are better, the physics are better, everything within the game engines themselves are just overall improved. But taking all of that and rather than using it for futuristic guns or futuristic weapons, but using all of that technology and knowledge to make a convincing story rather than a more futuristic or advanced story is where I am really interested. So there are all the reasons why I think Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War will be great. I will be doing a video very soon tearing into all of the leaks and information that we have about it so far. Bear with me on that one. I have been working on that one for a week or two, collecting all my notes. That will be coming out very soon. Thank you all for watching today's video, and of course this is a very different video to usual. It's not a Grand Theft Auto video, but this is a video that I just really wanted to do because personally I am so excited for this game. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.